Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and I have a fan on in the background to keep me cool. It is way too warm in here, so if you hear a slight humming behind me, that is a fan that is not really touching me, but still making noise. Anyway, this is Venom: The Last Dance. It is the third in a it's IMAX enhanced too. It's an hour and 49 minutes long. It is the third in a trilogy of Venom movies starring Tom Hardy. Not Tom Holland. Tom Holland is nowhere to be seen in these films, and that is kind of the reason why a lot of these films really didn't go far, didn't get the acclaim, the people watching it. It didn't get to make the box office. It did all right, but it just didn't get to do the kind of numbers that a $2 billion Spider-Man Brand New Day type of movie makes. So this like I said, an hour and 49 minutes from 2024. It just landed on Disney Plus yesterday, and so I saw it in theaters, and I'm taking my shot at I watched it again. And there's a lot of stuff I discovered that I didn't realize about it before. I didn't realize that Tom Hardy also did the voice of Venom, because it's very distinctly different. Of course, it's modulated deeper, and it's kind of mixed with some other things to make it very different. And Tom Hardy doing both the voices. I just figured they chose like a different actor to really play off of. But no, he's playing off himself. In fact, he and the director, Kelly Marcel, the two of them not co-wrote it. It was a story by the two of them to sort of wrap up the relationship, the ever-evolving relationship between these two characters, a man and his alien symbiote who has taken over his body, and how they at first did not get along. And then they basically turn into a very close friendship, brotherhood kind of thing by the end of this film, and they kind of love each other, and that's cool. It's character evolution in a character that really hasn't evolved a ton in the comics beyond having different people being attached to the Venom symbiote. Or, I mean, yeah, Eddie has gone from being a jerk photographer for a competing newspaper who hated Peter Parker, getting all those Spider-Man pictures, but he's become an anti-hero where his own ego was driving him to be a hero. In this case, it's the Venom symbiote that is driving the desire to be more active in doing heroics, the lethal protector aspect of it, when Eddie just wants his life to be stable and not be on the run and not deal with this crazy voice in his head that forces him to drink too hard and have both be drunk and a hangover at the same time, like actively at the same time. Like, he's just miserable. And then he gets pulled back and forth between realities, as we see in the very beginning of this film, due to, he got pulled into the reality because of Spider-Man No Way Home, where anybody who knows who Peter Parker is, but he doesn't know who Peter Parker is. He doesn't know of a Peter Parker. Got pulled into the Tom Holland's, our main MCU. He got pulled in. And then when that spell happened and everybody went back, and when he was able to send back all the villains in No Way Home, he went back too. And we see all of this borne out in, not just in the last film, Let There Be Carnage, but also in the beginning of this film. And Venom pretty much clearly says, I don't want to do this multiverse stuff anymore. No, stop. So, yeah. And so they clean the plate of all of that, but it still leads Venom and Eddie, they're on the run because they are accused of the murder of one of the cops that was investigating things in San Francisco. Michelle Williams does not appear in this at all. She is nowhere to be seen, but she, I think she got out while she could. Again, I'm not saying that these are bad films at all when you compare them to the rest of the things that the Spider-Man stuff there is coming out of Sony. Yeah, they're not great comparatively because they don't connect as well. It's all peripheral. It's like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the MCU films. They make references to the films and the characters in the films, and there's some of the actors supporting actors from the Thor movie or something. Sif shows up in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but beyond that, there's no real connection, despite what they imagined back in the day. And as things get rolled in from other realities, whether they put three Spider-Men in one battle together from different eras, that's great. Whether that ever will happen to Venom, Tom Hardy's Venom specifically, who knows? If it's going to happen anywhere, it's going to happen in Secret Wars, coming out next year, around the same time as what Avengers Doomsday is doing this year. Or is it going to come out in May? No, I don't think so. 28. We'll see. I can't remember. But what do we got here in this film? And I'm trying to make this shorter. I did a version of this film already. It's a video. It's rare that I reshoot, but I already know that the next episode is picked out already. So the last one went 35 minutes. Then my background reset itself. That's how long. Yeah, doesn't matter. Either way, this is going to be much shorter, and hopefully if you're watching this, well, then you know which one I chose to post. What is going on with this? Yes, they're on the run from the police, and they're also on the run from the King in Black, Null, who has sent out alien creatures to retrieve Venom, who is the ability to release him from his prison, and he can become the King in Black and take over the universe. He's a big baddie. In the comics, he's kind of and like Thanos in the sense of an alien, not the same goals, but the same level of cosmic power in a sense, with control over symbiotes, which are the Clintar are a pretty terrifying group of creatures, when they are controlled by those who wish ill on the universe. So are the Clintar the symbiotes aliens that are inherently evil? No. We find, yes, they, like Venom, surely does love biting heads off of bad guys because he's a lethal protector. If there's men they've found who are making dogs fight in Mexico, well, yeah, they're gonna lay the smack down. It's those moments where we get to see Venom unleashed. Venom actually be his thing. When Eddie finally goes, yeah, we can't be killing people. We gotta just lay low and not do bad stuff, no matter how hungry you are. It's when Eddie just goes, yeah, look, I'm giving you guys a chance to not do this anymore, and please leave. And when they refuse, of course, because they don't see him as a threat, Venom comes out. And that's one of the fun parts of these films. I can't deny that. Even if you hate these films, probably the people who hate these films have never seen the films, but how they hate that they don't match their comic book fantasies, usually. Because it's not one-to-one at all with the comics. And yes, we all want Spider-Man to meet Venom. And we get a hint in this film that, like, the part of their road trip thing is they want to go from where they are. I don't even know where they are. They're on the West Coast, but they want to go to New York City. And you're like, oh man, they're going to New York City. They're gonna run into Spider-Man. Yeah, that doesn't happen. I'm going to tell you that right now. It doesn't happen. You know it doesn't happen. Otherwise, you would have seen it in the trailers, because you would have seen them at least just face off in the trailers, just like look at each other, and that would have sold tickets instantly. It's like it's what everybody wants to see, and they've never given us, because I don't know. They can't dilute the Spider-Man IP because it makes $2 billion when a movie comes out, and it's in its fourth week at #1 of the box office, and most films don't do that unless they have Avengers in them. So, but it's also, they dropped Spider-Man mid to late July, which August tends to be a dead zone for new films, or at least big box office films. So they had a clear runway to dominate the summer while kids were still not in school yet, and people are on vacation, and they want air conditioning, and there you go. So what we get here is Eddie and Venom at each other's throats, in this metaphorically, but not getting along. But Venom gets to take the lead in this, and he wants to see New York City. He wants to see Lady Liberty. And along the way, they meet a family, and this family is a bunch of vegetarian, vegan hippies who just are going to see. They believe in aliens. Certainly, no such thing as aliens. But they pick up Eddie along the way, and he gets a ride from them, and he gets to see a family, gets to see something he may never have. And Venom kind of rubs it in a sense, going, you know what, this is a life you could have had. He doesn't say if it wasn't for me, but this is, and he even makes a point where when Eddie is really good with the little boy. It's a mom and dad, a teenage daughter who is over all of this, and a preteen son who is kind of just along for the ride, and he's happy to be with his family. Also, he's a reason for one of the most unbelievable things in this film, because he is a child in a VW van traveling across the desert to Las Vegas with no air conditioning, and he has somehow smuggled chocolate in his pocket to give to Eddie, and somehow it is not a melted package of mush. Yeah, no. Because Eddie feeds it to Venom at some point, and it's a completely solid candy bar. That's just not how it works. It's just not. I mean, it's hot right now. I couldn't have a candy bar in my hand right now without it melting. I'm not in the desert. So, yeah. So he meets his family. He gets to see kind of something he never got to have, that, he didn't have it with his girlfriend, played by Michelle Williams, who's not in this film at all. So he kind of lost out on a lot of things. And this is, by the way, co-written the story by Tom Hardy and Kelly Marcel, who is the director as well. And this is sort of, they're taking control of finishing this off. By the way, there's so many. This is very self-contained. The person who directed the last film was, why can't I say his name? Andy Serkis. Andy Serkis directed the Let There Be Carnage, and he gets to play Null, at least providing his voice, the King in Black, who makes a brief appearance at the beginning and the end of the film. It's a framing sequence that pretty much gives us the reason why these guys are in danger, why Venom and Eddie are in danger. Specifically Venom, because Null needs Venom and Eddie, because they could be the key to releasing him from his prison and taking over the world, the universe, the galaxy, whatever. He's a bad guy. So that is the very thin premise. And these aliens also they get to Earth, and the thing is, if Venom is fully present on the screen, if you see him fully standing there, those aliens can find him. They can just pinpoint him and go directly at him, miles away from across a galaxy. They could find him. But as long as he's just a floating head over here, hey, Eddie, if he's this, or he's doing other, stays inside of Eddie and just talks in his head, they can't see him, which saves them a little bit of money on digital effects. So you don't have to have Venom on screen the entire time. You give Tom Hardy face time. You notice how Spider-Man, Tom Holland, any of the Spider-Man, whenever they're in a big battle, especially the final battle of any movie, their mask comes off. You don't have Spider-Man fighting the Lizard. You don't have Spider-Man fighting the Green Goblin or Doc Ock. You have Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, Tom Holland, without a mask, fighting the bad guy, who apparently knows their identity at this point, because the actor has to be present. That's why with Iron Man they made it so you could see his face inside the helmet through any battles without him having to take it off each time. But again, when he's going to defeat Thanos and snap his metal gauntlet hand, it's Robert Downey Jr.'s face. So yeah, it's that rule. If you haven't understood that before, that's just how it always works. In this, you want to have Tom Hardy on screen as much as you want to see Venom doing all of his crazy stuff. And that whole, hey, Eddie, like moving over here next to Tom Hardy. It's actually kind of a smart move. It puts both characters on screen at the same time without having to fully generate the entire character and have them walking next to each other, kind of thing. So So anyway, we get these guys trying to make it to New York City and just getting out of the San Francisco area. Then they realize that they're also being attacked by aliens, and Venom recognizes these things. So you can't have the powerhouse physically there. By the way, this is like the worst background they could have chose for this. It's so blurry. It's literally from an action sequence on the outside of a plane before they crash it. Whatever happened to that plane, by the way? They blew out an engine. Like, it should have crashed or did a really dangerous landing. And I don't think we ever heard what happened to it. Maybe I wasn't paying attention. Either way, here you go. So yeah, they're making their way across the country. They meet this family. The father, played by Rhys Ifans, who was also the Lizard in the Amazing Spider-Man movie with Andrew Garfield. There's other people. We get Chiwetel Ejiofor, and I know I'm saying that wrong. I'm sorry. He was also Mordo in the Doctor Strange films. They're not playing the same character, but in a different universe. They're just literally playing completely different characters. Who else do we get? We got a few other people. We got some returning. Mrs. What's her name from the bodega? Where are you, honey? Where, honey? Peggy Lou. Peggy Lou plays Mrs. Chen. She is in Vegas because they make their way to Vegas at one point, and man, I know Vegas, and they film it at the Paris Resort Casino, and there is no dress code. I'm just telling you right now, there is no dress code. You can wear your sloppiest board shorts. Your shirt can be covered in ketchup and mustard after eating 12 hot dogs. It doesn't matter. They will not kick you out. They will not kick Tom Hardy out and force him to have Venom knock out a guy who peed on his feet. Yeah, that's a thing that happened. Because the symbiote suit should be able to change into your clothing. That's what Peter Parker had in the comics, but hey, we can't compare to what's going on in the comics. It's not the same thing. This is Venom, a different iteration of Venom. There's an infinite multiverse of different Venom iterations. Will Venom show up again after this trilogy is closed out in a fairly final way? Yes, we'll probably see Venom again at some point in the future. Will it be Tom Hardy's Venom? Will it be this kind of attitude, characterization, everything else? Don't know. If we find that, it might show up first in Secret Wars before they give us another Spider-Man film. Because that's coming out next year. A year after Doomsday. So, will we see it? Will he make a 5-second appearance in Secret Wars? I have no idea. Will he just suddenly show up and, oh, hey, Spider-Man's got a great new black suit. Isn't that neat? I don't know. But yeah, we get a closure. We get closure in this film with between Eddie and Venom, closing out this trilogy in a very final way. Where, yeah, there's open doors to a few other things, and the after mid-credit sequence scenes don't really do anything. They really don't. They serve no purpose. The credit sequence, though, do you want to know? Like they showed in the trailer, if you haven't seen this movie yet, in the trailer they showed Venom taking over a horse and using him to gallop across the desert really quickly. It's a mode of transportation faster than walking. That also can carry Eddie, and as terrified as it makes him. But if you want to find out what the Venom looks like wrapped around an elephant, or a squirrel, or an alligator, or a tortoise, well, guess what? You're going to watch the credits, because that's what they use their CGI budget on to make it. It's somewhat silly. It looks really cool. It looks really, really neat. But it's them just going, let's Venomize everything and go for it. It's our last chance. This is our last shot in this trilogy, possibly with Tom Hardy. So here you go. Let's get weird with it. So, I mean, remember, this is not our first Venom. So, and it's probably not going to be our last. And he's popular enough that at some point Sony and Marvel will find a proper way to make it happen with Spider-Man in the same room, either as an ally or an enemy. And it could possibly be awesome and not be something that's forced upon Sam Raimi back in Spider-Man 3. So, yeah, it's somebody's got to trust Amy and Kevin to do it right when that time comes. So people will complain that, hey, this is part of those Spider-Man villain films that are just spin-offs that really nobody needed or wanted to see. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people who are dying for a Venom film, a Venom series. But most of all, they want to see him, a real Venom, truly go up against this modern iteration of Spider-Man. Understandable. I've never really been a Spider-Man fan after his first appearance in the McFarlane comics, where he was truly, terrifying, and it was a really great build-up all the way from Secret Wars into Web of Spider-Man, and that great Charles Vess cover, painted cover. I remember buying that. I know the exact store where I bought that comic back in 1987, something like that. I can't remember what year, but yeah. And then also all the things that led to Spider-Man dealing with the costume, and well, then Web of Spider-Man, and then Venom being an actual real threat to both Spider-Man and Peter Parker, which made him awesome. But because he was so popular, Marvel decided, hey, we're going to make a comic book series where he can be on every page, and people will buy the crap out of that, and they did. I should have grabbed my Lethal Protector #1. I have it. It had a foil cover, red foil cover. But yeah, But I was never really into him after that, when he just became a marketing ploy, and they started making more symbiotes. Hey, do you want to see more symbiotes in a Venom movie? Do you want to see all the other known symbiotes? You've seen them in the cartoons. You've probably fought them in the video games over the years. You want to see them in live action, fighting against alien monsters where they can totally cut loose and not are trying to chop up. They're fighting with the military to save lives. And speaking of which, there's a neat little thing that I didn't notice the first time I watched this in theaters. Yes, I saw it in theaters. It had air conditioning. It came out in October, but we have hot Octobers here. There's a point where they're like, oh, Thompson's down. And it's a guy who's lost his legs. What? Yeah. That's Flash Thompson. More than likely. Because in the comics, Flash Thompson, former bully of Peter Parker in high school, who was always, got all the chicks, but he was always picking on little scrawny Parker, he eventually enlisted and served in whatever war was happening at the time those books were created. It could have been Afghanistan, it could have been Iraq, whatever it is. But he lost his legs in battle. IDE probably. So he lost his legs, and in this case, though, in this movie, he lost his legs. A character, a military guy, loses his legs in a battle with symbiotes. And eventually he took on a symbiote that gave him his legs back when they were in battle, because he's a symbiote. And, he got to be Agent Venom. He took on the Venom symbiote at one point. So that character did survive this battle. So will they go that direction with the Venom next time? Don't know. I know that they've stopped making Sony Spider-Man spin-off films, because they weren't doing anybody any favors. Wasn't doing anything good for the studio, wasn't doing anything good for the Spider-Man mythos by not having Spider-Man in any of them. It was just, Craven, Madam Web, Morbius, and 3 Venoms, which were the most successful of all those films, and understandably so, because he's a super popular character. Whether people who are adherent to the comics like these or not, I don't know. I just know that a lot of my friends who would normally go to a Marvel film with me didn't go to these films with me. I went to see them just because it's a Marvel film, and it's a Marvel character. Even if I'm not a big fan of the character, it was okay with seeing, these in the theater. And they're enjoyable. Tom Hardy plays Venom as well, which I didn't realize for some reason he does the voice for Venom as well. I thought they had some other actor for it, but nope, not the case. And they're entertaining because Venom is so unhinged compared to the neurotic level of Eddie. And as much as they're against each other in the beginning, and that provides a lot of the comedy. They get closer and closer as brothers, in a sense, working together and trying to do what's right to help other people, and that becomes more natural. Where I couldn't really understand how he could be, while Lethal Protector was only in his head in many cases, he just loved killing people. He just funneled it towards bad guys only. Okay, but he's still a menace. He's, to borrow something from J. Jonah Jameson, he's difficult to deal with. So, all that to say, yes, it's done. This arc is done. Whatever they do next, even if they do it with Tom Hardy, they will possibly either just sort of start from scratch, because they can, because it's a multiverse. You never know. Speaking of actors, I want to make sure we also remember that there are... did I say Rhys Ifans also is the Lizard, but he's also the hippie dad. There's also... Chiwetel Ejiofor is also Mordo, but we also have the return of Cristo Fernandez, who's that poor bartender that always has to listen to his drunken rantings, in the last two films at least. And he's in all he's in all the universes as a bartender, which, okay. Andy Serkis is not directing, but he is also Null, and oh crap, no, I don't want to. Okay, and Keely Jones. Oh, sorry, not Keely, but Juno Temple is in this film. So there's between Fernando and Keely. Sorry. Cristo Fernandez, oh man, I'm really screwing this up. Cristo Fernandez and Juno Temple. We got two Ted Lasso actors in this film, which is kind of neat. I can't handle Juno without her very, very thick British accent, which is just, yeah. But yeah, it's weird hearing her with a pretty good American accent. I was surprised, but yeah, it's still unnerving. Will you like this? Well, if you like the previous two, probably. This is good closure. It is successful in its closure for this storyline, for this actor, and for all this. If you watch the first two, enjoyed them enough, you're gonna want to finish it off with this third one. Great, done. But if I want to make sure this doesn't reset on me, but yeah. If you have no interest or understanding of who Venom is and you're expecting Spider-Man to show up, you are going to be sorely disappointed. Yeah. But if you're just looking for a fun, just crazy, weird time with a guy and the symbiote that lives inside him, yeah. If you like Tom Hardy, and he has such a broad range of talent, doing dramas and romance and doing action, and he's in Christopher Nolan stuff. Seriously, this is a very different character. He's a guy who's a little unstable, and made only worse when there's an alien inside his body, who is not restrained in many ways. So yeah, I think these films could have been better, but they're not bad, including this one. So if you're looking for big explosions, fights with aliens and military and just lots of dirt bike jumps and explosions, probably that makes it sound really, really like it's made for children. It's not. It's PG-13. It's PG-13, so it's not egregiously. There's an F-bomb or two. I think there's at least one F-bomb dropped in this, but beyond that, it's just good, crazy, non-Spider-Man fun. Can you handle that? Yeah. But it's on, and hey, you know what? It's not the last of the Spider-Man universe films to be added to Disney Plus next month. Before we reach, if I do it right, I can't remember the exact date it releases, we're going to see Kraven the Hunter. Yeah, before we reach our 2500th episode. Yeah. So we have one more. I don't think there's any others that we need to pull in from Sony. And we're good. We're done. I think we're done with all of that stuff. I would have loved if all these villain stories would have just really built into something much bigger and cooler, if there has some sort of something that was connecting them better. And yeah, you gotta give the creators, the directors, and the writers freedom to make their own stories in their own way. And hey, they made it work with Captain America, Thor, and Iron Man. 3 very different characters in 3 very different worlds and times and technologies and backgrounds and everything else. And they made it work in the Avengers. Could they have done an evil version of that in the Spider-Man universe? It didn't seem like they could knock that out. Could they have done it under different management input from somebody like Kevin Feige? I'm not saying Amy Pascal can't do it. I don't know, she knows Spider-Man. She's been around since the early days of Spider-Man. And she made the deal with Marvel to bring Tom Holland's Spider-Man into the Marvel Universe. Would Tom Holland's Spider-Man be doing as well? $2 billion in 4 weeks? Had it been completely disconnected from the rest of the Marvel Universe that is growing and growing with every passing day? It probably not. Probably not. It would probably have its own thing, and he would have been fighting Kraven in the last film or something. Or that would have been Brand New Day, and there would have been Mephisto breaking him and MJ up. It's just, yeah, I don't know. I don't have much faith in these fully separate. Yeah, it might be. They're parts of a bigger multiverse, but none of it made you care about the characters. In this, you care about Eddie, where in a way you never really cared much about Eddie in the comics, unless you're a Venom devotee, like a hardcore Venom devotee, which I really never have been. But I'm more of the Agent Venom. I like the Agent Venom stuff. I think Rick Remender wrote those. I could be wrong. Yeah. Either way, that was good stuff. Anyway, I'm finishing off now. I'm now at still 30 minutes. Definitely check it out if that's your thing. If this is your thing, you want to finish off, just close out this era of Venom stories with Tom Hardy. This is your chance. It's on Disney Plus. It was already on Netflix and Amazon and Prime and all that other stuff already. It's now on Disney Plus for as long as they have it. So get all your Marvel cinematic stuff all in one place. And soon, Kraven the Hunter. So, what we're watching next tomorrow, I'm not doing a random pick. I already have a few things over the next few days that I need to get knocked out because they're brand new, and they're the type of things that I watch the day of that they come out. So, this came out yesterday, and the next one comes out today, and it is The Simpsons Yellow Mirror. If you know Black Mirror, which was a Netflix series, which is kind of like a modern Twilight Zone, but has to do with our black mirrors, our devices that have kind of intruded in our lives, overtaken our lives, giving a reflection of our lives. Well, Yellow Mirror is 2 stories in 1 episode, I believe, that we'll have to check out. That's what we're going to do tomorrow. The Simpsons special episode that's only available on Disney Plus. It's not part of the regular season that you'd find on Fox or whatever else. It's only available on Disney Plus. The Simpsons Yellow Mirror is what we're watching next on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow with that.